to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.
Times on this podcast.
I was talking about Bucky's, the gas station, just saying it funny. But yeah, shout out to Boosie, though.
Yeah, at this point, we're on a streak of how many times Boosie gets a shout out in a podcast.
And you're from Louisiana, too, so.
Right, but somehow everybody's got a connection to Boosie. I don't know.
That's true. Or PBE.
Do you know who PBE is? Parker Boy?
I didn't know. Is it Parker Boy Entertainment?
Yeah.
Him and his brothers or something?
Something
made
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know who he is through CeeLo Bambino.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to get CeeLo up here.
Bet. Let's do it.
He'd be a good
CeeLo,
one.
we're shouting you out.
Yeah, for real.
Guys, welcome to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast. My name's Q Steezy, and today's new wave, Dusty DeLuna.
Thank you for having me, man.
Fantastic for having you. For having you here. Let's see.
I like the outfit.
Yeah, man. Dusty hooked me up. We got some Fried Green Records. Merch.
Panhandle Pirates, too. Yeah, you see the shirt?
Sheesh. Where can they find this merchandise at?
They can find it next Friday at the second annual Fried Green Friday, which will be at the Handlebar in Pensacola.
Cool.
So,
Do you always sell your gear at the Handlebar?
at the shows we try to sell it.
Nice.
I'm working on a website now. So,
Okay, cool.
Or I would have shouted out the website, but
Right.
you know,
How much is the website going to cost?
shit, I don't know, man.
I can't rock these anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I'm looking at like Darth Vader or something.
Some people just sold the sunglasses the whole time. Speaking of PBE, sorry to cut you off. It was just like I didn't know where to look, and like his teeth were just glistening. So I was just like focused on his teeth. It was just.
Yeah, I left my grill at home for that reason. I wanted to focus.
I appreciate that.
So.
I appreciate it. But yeah, speaking of the Handlebar,
Yeah,
how frequently do you frequent the Handlebar?
man, I go there just for shows and stuff. You
Right.
know, at least once a month. It's a great venue. They recently like revamped it.
Right.
It used to be more of an underground kind of punky type place, which it still is.
Right.
But as far as like bang for your buck venues in Pensacola, it's my personal favorite.
Gotcha.
It sounds the best, and it, like some of the other venues or like maybe Vinyl per se, like it's harder to pack it out.
Right.
If you have 100 people at Handlebar, you're a rock star. you know?
Right.
So it's cool.
What's the rap scene like in Pensacola?
It's definitely a lot different than Mobile.
Yeah.
Like way different.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Beach bars.
Yeah, that's like been my focus since I, have been down here. Is like trying to create like a coastal hip hop sound.
Yeah.
And just kind of be true to who I am, but also like in the hip hop world. So, I definitely get more of a beachy vibe.
Right.
And it's more like Gotham City in Mobile.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because they're so close, but they're so different.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wonder what goes into creating a beach vibe in your music.
That's a good question. I mean, like, I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind, like, is Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Like, the beginning of that song, I went out to the beach and I just used my little voice memo and recorded the waves. So, like, what better way than to, like, use the actual waves in your beat?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I think a lot of it is, of course, it's the instrumentation and it's the sound, but it's, like, the content of what you're saying.
Toes in the sand.
Yeah, toes in the sand.
Yeah.
They're like, eat these wrappers for breakfast with speckled trout and some redfish. So it's like,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I don't know if like somebody who grew up in a big city would talk about speckled trout and redfish.
Right.
But,
Yeah. No, yeah, it's those lyrics are definitely damn, I'm not as funny as Theo Vaughn, man. I'm trying to come up with something. But those lyrics are definitely different and catching at first.
I think the word you're looking for is original.
Original, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to be.
Right.
It's like I don't want to ever get kind of looped in with other people.
Can't get caught in the net.
Yeah, you're already a Caucasian rapper, so like when they see you, the first thing they say is like Eminem or Mac Miller, and
Right.
it's like, bro, like, can we talk about something else?
Right. We'll rap on Mac Miller beats, but we're not gonna. Yeah.
That was a rare thing, That was, and like I said, I never really got to do that. That verse is probably like, it's over 10 years old.
Really.
It's old, but I never got to put it out or anything. And I was just like, when I was on the way here, it was just the mood, so I wanted to do it.
That's so cool, man. I remember when I mean, I'm not that experienced into the game, but when I was when I was getting started, just having all these dreams and like, man, I was just writing lyrics one day. These lyrics are gonna be when I'm on a Shade 45 or something,
Yeah.
So like having a song that's 10 years old that you never released and then putting it on a podcast,
Yeah.
younger self would have been really proud,
I was going through something too, so it's like,
Yeah.
and it's crazy how it like still relates to this day.
How old are you?
Oh man, 35. I just had my
Nice.
birthday, so
How recent?
March 16th.
Nice,
So
man.
like,
St. Patty's.
yeah,
Yeah.
the day before.
Yeah.
So I'm officially a unk,
Yeah.
I'm old, man.
I don't know. I feel like unk status nowadays is like we've got people in my grade that are unks just because of the way they act, It's more about your demeanor.
Yeah. I welcome it, because like a lot of the guys that I'm around, like they're more animated,
Right.
and I like wear a bunch of different hats. I'm not
Right.
just a rapper or a producer. Like I rap, produce, DJ, engineer.
And I was going to get to that. I saw you doing some videography work.
Yeah,
What is your role in the music industry as it stands now?
man. It's interesting because like I kind of do it by the year. So like this year, I wanted to focus on being an artist more and, really producing more. Like that was my goal because I only started making beats. Like I'm going on my 3rd year making beats.
Okay.
And it's crazy because I have other artists around me that are like, they're soaking up the beats and they're,
Yeah.
I'll give them a beat and then it's done that night. And I'm like, and they're like, we need more.
Right.
And so like we have a real demand for beats. So that just like is where my role shifted. But
That's interesting because I feel like it's so easy to get beats nowadays. I mean, you could go to YouTube and
it is, but like then when it comes down to the track outs and whatever, it's like, you're spending $100 or like the thing that got me onto beats was I was coming to Mobile to this little underground studio off of Houston Street. And
what was it called?
it's called Soundwave.
Soundwave. Okay.
And it's right like
Somebody mentioned that recently.
it's like 2 blocks away from where the last Mr. Big's house was. And so he used to have a lime green house with like a lime green Cadillac.
Right.
And I don't know if the house is still lime green or not, but like I was coming over here and I was linking with CeeLo Bambino, and I go in these like, I mean, the particular room that we were in was like half this size, and there'd be like 6 guys in there. And everybody be working. Like it was crazy. Like, and because if you're not working, like what are you doing?
Sweatshop.
And this kid named 251 Zach was in there one day, and I just had this like aha moment. And I kept coming over there, and it'd be like if you have $100 to $150, depending on which producer it was, you could get a custom beat made to whatever sound you like, however you want your sound to be. And so
Light bulb.
and this 17-year-old kid that was still in high school is the one taking my money and then opening FL Studio and being like, how do you want it? And I'd always like, I have engineering experience. So
Right.
like, I was always trying to like quantize drums in Pro Tools, which is like not ever going to happen. And like, I had an MPC and Pro Tools, and I was just like, my drums never sound right. And then he pulls up FL Studio, and it's got the 808 sequencer. I
Right.
don't know if you've ever seen it before.
I've seen FL Studios. I don't know. I'm not a producer, but I've seen my friends use FL Studios and it's cracked.
Yeah. And so the 808 sequencer is like this invention from the late 70s, but
Wow.
which I could really go on about
Go on.
if you want me to. Well, let me finish this real quick
Yeah.
and then I'll talk about it. But
Right.
so I'm like giving this 17-year-old kid like $100 to make this beat, and he makes it in like 10 minutes and it's fire, but his drums are perfect. And I'm looking at this sequencer, the way that the kick, the hat, the snare
Right.
are like going on it. And I'm like, bro, this is like genius. And so basically what FL Studio has
Are
is,
you about to explain the 808 sequencer?
yeah.
What is the 808 sequencer?
So The 808 sequencer was invented by a guy, I think it was the late 70s in Japan. And everybody, basically, he thought it was a failure because everybody was hating on it, saying that it sounded too much like a computer. It was too computerized because it was, perfect in the way that it was. And they were like, we want real drums.
808s and heartbreaks.
Well, yeah, it broke this dude's heart for sure.
Yeah.
So he thought it was a failure, and he passes away and thinking his invention is a failure. And they send like a bunch of the sequencers overseas, and they ended up in New York in the pawn shops. And so the guys in Harlem went and picked up this like $300 drum machine, and that's part of how hip hop was created. And now the 808 sequencer.
That poor guy, man.
And the 808 now
could have been Kanye East. Japan.
And the 808 sequencer, I believe, is the most used instrument in pop music now.
Yeah.
It's in everything. It's in like 90% of the music. It's in country music now. So I wish that guy could see his invention, what it is today.
He'd walk some Morgan Wallen could run.
Bro.
Something like that.
Yeah. There you go. You're getting your Theo on now.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see, man. So speaking to the beach sound in your music, how do you finesse the 808 sequencer to make it? Besides the naturally getting the waves and whatnot, how does the 808 become a beach sound?
Yeah. The 808 doesn't define the beach sound. I think it's like that's just kind of like the skeleton of the beat with the drums, and then like you have synthesizers and all other stuff that you can add to create whatever you want to add, but it's really, like I said, it's the content, it's the lyrics that make it beachy.
Sure.
What you're saying.
Gotcha. Where does the Southern Samurai come from?
When I was younger, I would always tell my family, like, yo, I got another family in Japan. And that's like where my real family is. So
what?
I don't know why. I think it's because I like that movie Three Ninjas when I was a kid. And so I just always fucked with Japan.
Okay.
And I think like samurais are honorable and it's cool. And so I was just like, I don't know, Southern Samurai.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
It's like NBA YoungBoy is the Diamond Teeth Samurai. So
I didn't know that.
Y'all have something in common.
Yeah, shout out to him. Let's work.
Right. Hey, my samurai brother.
Yeah, NBA old head.
Right. Well, where does Dusty DeLuna? Where's?
So it's just kind of a play on my real name, and like when I moved to Pensacola, DeLuna is like the guy who created the first colony in Pensacola.
Oh, okay.
And where my house is, it's like right where the colony was.
Okay.
And my last name is like really similar. And I was like, I don't want to use my last name, so I just flipped it and made it DeLuna. And it's kind of cool because, he was a leader. Like when you go out on Pensacola Beach, the street is Via DeLuna. So.
Oh, yeah, that works.
It's just kind of like.
What about the Dusty?
Dusty, like, so my like real name is Robert, and I'm the fifth.
Fire.
So my mom was like, I don't want to call you the same thing that I call your dad. And my mom's, creative too. And she was just like, I always like the name Dusty. So
right.
All of my siblings all have D names, except for my real name is Robert, but we all go by D names.
Dusty. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. You say your mom's creative. Was she like big on music growing up?
She likes music. She was more into like, like actual art, and she does like
poetry.
More like drawing, painting, and stuff like that. But she does like her art now is like in decorating.
Right.
I mean, she's not like a professional interior design, but like if you came to our house, like she goes and picks out fabrics, has like old furniture redone in her own new style, and modernizes, stuff like that. Like
nice.
If you saw it, like our house or her house is like it's a cool place. It's got a lot of feng shui to it.
Feng shui.
Yeah.
That's a great way to describe it.
Good little album name.
Right.
You got to tell me about Eclipse on the Levee, though. What does that mean?
Well, I'd say I grew up on the levee. I just grew up in a neighborhood that's like right next to a levee that borders the Mississippi River. And especially when COVID hit, when there was not much to do, like riding my bike on the levee was a daily occurrance. And man, there's nothing like just riding your bike and big red moons just sitting out there, you know,
Yeah.
on the side of the levee. Just it's a great scene. So
I think you have something else called like Blue Levy.
Blue Levee.
Yeah.
So man, I appreciate you.
I was doing my research, man. I had to, you know.
Man, all right, I respect that. That's I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but all right. Yeah.
No, I've been asked to be on a few podcasts, and you know, this one really stuck out.
Thank you, brother.
And I'm pretty sure I asked you to be on here, so you know, I wanted to. Like, I like what you're doing.
Thank
It's
you.
cool.
Man. Thank you. Well, yeah, the blue is my speaking of unk status, I've got like some unk in my family that's not really my uncle, but he was like I think he was like my grandfather's brother, but his middle name or his nickname was somehow Uncle Boy Blue. You're not supposed to laugh at that.
That's some Louisiana shit.
It is some Louisiana shit. Uncle Boy Blue. I like Boy Blue. Said so. I call him Uncle Boy Blue. Although I didn't actually know him. I think he passed away before.
Have you heard of Little Boy Blue?
Little Boy Blue. No.
It's like an old poem. Yeah, it's
Oh,
like my mom used to read that to me before I went to sleep. So I was like, bro,
Damn,
somebody in your family like.
Put me on.
Yeah, somebody in your family knows about Little Boy Blue, and they just call it Uncle Boy Blue.
And so I made that my Xbox gamer tag, and I joined people's party. They'd be like, "Who the fuck is Uncle Boy Blue?"
Bruh. I mean, it's a hard name.
Uncle Boy Blue.
Damn. You're probably too young to have like AOL Instant Messenger.
I got AOL right now, but not Instant Messenger.
Instant Messenger screen names used to go hard. Like
Really?
Uncle Boy Blue would have been a good one.
Yeah, man. People be like, "Oh, you know, it was before Uncle's a thing." And anyway,
Yeah.
so that's where the Blue Levy comes in. I don't know how I thought of that, but anyway, that's we're getting off topic. What's Fried Green Records all about?
Man, you know, it's people see it and they think that I'm like looking for artists and stuff, but I think I just want to keep it simple. And I've got 2 artists on it right now, aside from myself, Calico Trey, Trap and Trav, and
Calico Trey,
yeah, and you know, it's
Spring
just
Training, Trap and Trav.
yeah, Trap and Trav,
Yeah,
Spring Training.
we're gonna get to that.
Yeah. And when I was in audio engineering school,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, and we had to do a project where if we were going to create an LLC, like what would we do? And I was trying to think, and I went out to eat. It was in Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was like I wish I could remember the name of this restaurant because it's not there anymore. But
Bussin'.
and it was like this
Boosian.
Bucky's, yeah, bucking. That thing was bucking, boy. But shout out to Uncle Boy Blue, man. But no, it
You did not have to point it out, bro. That's crazy.
But, I don't know how that correlated, but no, like I sat down at this restaurant and I was really trying to think of like my label, and I just saw Fried Green Tomatoes, and I was like, man, Fried Green Records, that kind of goes. So, and home cooked music, like when I was working in Nashville, like in studios, it aside from being extremely expensive, it can be kind of stressful if you're paying for studio time and you're kind of rushed and stuff. And
Absolutely.
I saw one of the owners of the studio that I was interning at. He was like freaking out because it was like people were starting to really get heavy into plugins. Like I don't know if you know what plugins are off of Pro Tools and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, people aren't going to have to come to my studio anymore. They're just going to have like the reverb chamber plug-in, and they're going to do this. Like he started going through all of his drum kits and sampling them all and getting them out to where people could be at home and use them. And the light bulb just kind of went off where I was like, I'm not going to have to, in the future, I'm not going to have to go to the studio to get studio quality sound. And so I was like, man, I need to really focus in on Pro Tools and learn how to do it myself, and I won't have to pay for studio.
So you're saying because of the plugins, you don't need. I feel like the equipment definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can do a lot with good plugins.
Yeah.
But.
And I mean.
A great microphone, you could tell. You know?
Bro, a great artist. You can have a shitty artist, a shitty equipment, shitty studio, and a great artist, and it's like that. You're gonna realize that they're good. You know,
right?
But my thing was just home cooked music. Like I want to do this myself. Like I don't want to have to rely on going to a studio every time I need to get a song out.
Home cooked music, Fried Green Records.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Thank you.
Maybe that should. I don't know if you've got it as the motto, but that'd be a cool motto.
Oh, it is. You see it under the hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
home cook. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that.
It's on your head right now, man.
Yes, this happens far too many times in my life, where I'm like, man, that's a great idea, and then I search it up online. It's been in place since like the 1800s. What's Spring Training? How you produced that album? Was that the first album that you produced?
Yeah, that was like my first time kind of overseeing a whole project.
Wow, man.
And yeah, like dude, the streams have really like been a pleasant surprise because that was Trappin' Trav's first project. And I haven't looked in a while, but it like I think when it went over 25,000 streams, I was like,
damn boy.
I was like, this is like actually resonating with somebody, you know. But
golly, man, and that album cover does it justice too, man. Like I've never seen a baseball player like rap.
Yeah.
You know, that's like,
yeah. I mean, well, it's all kind of a double entendre. Like Spring Training is what the first project was, and then now in a few months we're gonna drop Opening Day. So it'll go opening or Spring Training to Opening Day, and then the big league or whatever he's gonna do after that. But it's all basically like baseball themed, but it's also
gosh, man.
It's also like the game.
Yeah.
You know, like the hustle game.
Absolutely.
So
people say,
I mean, his name's Trappin' Trav, so it's like, you know, it's a nod to him being in the game, but also baseball.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Is he selling drugs? You don't have to answer that. I'm joking.
No, and nah, but
I don't have a wire.
yeah, no. Well, I mean, we're on camera and you know being recorded right now, but
No, I'm
you know,
joking.
I think
shout out to Trappin' Trav. He doesn't sell drugs.
Nah. But you know.
But if you need something,
you know, he may. It's kind of like you know, like Rick Ross. You know,
right.
The real freeway Rick Ross was a guy from L.A., but the Rick Ross you know is a guy from Florida. You know.
Wait, so he's not actually from Florida?
Like the real freeway Rick Ross was a kingpin that went to jail.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay.
And then Ross, and then Leonard Fournette or whatever, or not Fournette, but Leonard.
Yeah,
Rick Ross's real name is Leonard something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He decided to name himself after that drug dealer.
And then present himself as a
drug dealer.
Yeah, I feel like music has a lot of that, of like people presenting themselves as something they're not. But
yeah, the first song Trappin' Trav and I did because of that was called Nonfiction. So an artist had Trappin' Trav come down to Miami. You know who he is too, but I'm not gonna say who it is. But maybe one day he'll see this. And and he was like, I need your stuff, Pitbull. Nah, it was a little scrappy.
305.
But nah, he basically just like used like Trappin' Trav's like aesthetic for his music video and everything. And Trap was like what, like this is all fake, you know, like
really?
And so when he came back from Miami, like that was the first he came and saw me in Nashville, and that was the first time we got in the studio together and we made a song called Nonfiction. It's like when I'm in the studio with an artist, like I like to just sit down, have a conversation with them and figure out where their head is.
Yeah.
And based on the conversation, I'll be like, how can we spin this conversation into a song?
Right.
And so he told me that story, and I was like, let's make a song about that experience.
Damn, boy, I respect that. Getting to the source of it, and then I bet that helps the performance as well.
Definitely, man. Like if you can catch the moment while it's there.
Right.
Because once you try to come back to the moment, it's really hard.
Right. Tell me about your most traumatic moment in your life, and then you just get them where their gut is, you know?
Yeah, like if they stop crying, then you lost like the feeling. You gotta get it while the tears are in their eyes.
Right.
But yeah, man, there's a lot of psychology with recording artists and just being in the studio in general. As you know, as an artist, you know, it's
what's your preparation like whenever you're recording music?
It depends, like with an artist or just myself.
By yourself, like if you're about to spit into the microphone, what's your preparation?
Man, I just do it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, and that's part of the beauty of having home cooked music. It's like, bruh, like half the time it's like me.
You're already in your environment.
I'm like in my sweatpants with my shirt off, like like I just thought of this thing, I want to do it.
Right.
And I just like run over to the mic and do it, and then I'll be like, this is trash, or it's good,
or it's the most original thing. Like, yeah.
So I think, like we were saying, catching it in the moment, though. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
I'll get out of bed and turn my computer on and record and then go back to sleep,
Right.
you know, so.
Do you have any other jobs besides music?
Yeah, but I just want to talk about music.
No, that's fair. That's fair. No, I'm just wondering how you balance like between the two.
It's definitely tough because I'm, you know, I'm not like, I don't know how to say it without sounding like cocky or something, but like I've been in the same career for 10 years now. This is
Right.
my 10th year.
Right.
So I've like made a name for myself
Okay, cool.
and I've become somebody. So it's like, it's tough, you know. I think like that's part of the name DeLuna too, is because like DeLuna means of the moon. And it's like I'm moonlighting
Right.
as the artist.
Right. Right.
So,
Different type of moonlighting.
I think the best way to answer that question is like, I always love this like movie, different type. I don't know what that. Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Boy Blue.
Sorry for cutting y'all.
You need to tell me what that moonlight. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain that.
That went over my head. But,
Sorry. No, but yeah, when it comes to another question is, how did you develop such a good name and reputation for yourself? You said you've been in the game for more than 10 years.
Man, I mean, I don't even know if I have a great name and reputation. I don't know. I think just like the best way to do it is like be yourself.
Okay.
So many people in this game are not themselves.
Right.
And so many people in this game do not have good intentions.
Oh, yeah.
And I think just like my intentions have like over time, like with people
Right.
have, you know, shown true.
Right.
And I think that's the best thing, you know, the best way to create a good reputation for yourself in music. Yeah, but like back to what you were saying, because I want to encourage other artists, like, you know, because when I was younger, I was like, you know, I was living in Nashville, going to audio engineering school. At one point, I didn't even have like a place to stay. I was just sleeping in my car.
No.
Just trying to get it. I was like answering Craigslist ads for manual labor, driving Uber. I would go to different venues and unload bands, you know, and then load them back out.
For real. And that was after college?
This was after college and when I was in audio engineering school. So I graduated from Auburn
Right.
with a degree in radio, film, and television.
Right.
And then I loved, like, I was doing film stuff and I just loved the sound part of it. And I
Right.
was always recording rappers and stuff at my my place in college.
Oh, okay.
So, but I was gonna say, like, bro, being broke and being in the music industry is not conducive. It's not good. Like, I realized real quick, like, I'm chasing my dream, but like, I can't afford studio time. I can't do anything, and all I'm ever gonna be is like this guy's assistant, working for like $10 an hour.
Who's assistant?
It was like a little small studio, you know, up there, and there I was also running sound at this bar. It was just like a 24 channel Yamaha mixer, so it was real simple. When I
Right.
say running sound, it's not as complicated as other Nashville shit, but it was this place called Daisy Dukes, and it had a zombie glow in the dark Daisy Duke up behind the stage, and all it was metal bands. And so we'd do 4 metal bands a night, and I'd get paid $40 at the end of the night.
Nah, hell nah.
And I was just like, bruh, like, you know, like I said, I'm answering Craigslist ads and
Right.
and driving Uber and just trying to make ends meet and pay my
Damn,
rent.
boy.
So I was really hustling, you know, trying to get by. And at the end of that year, I was like, bruh, I gotta get a real job, and like, I
Yeah.
gotta be able to have money to fund my dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anybody out there, like, don't be ashamed of getting a real job, like, because that could actually be the thing that helps you get your ideas and your art out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had another guy named Chance Nagel say the exact same thing, where it's like, at least in our generation, it's like, it's lame to have a job, you know? It's just like, but when you actually have a job and you have a financial support to, like you said, focus on your dreams, you know, that's the real way to do it, you know?
Health insurance is cool.
Right.
Health insurance is cool. Bro, trust me. As you get older, you'll see, like, you gotta
Can you
have some
explain
stability.
a moment in your life when health insurance came in clutch?
Man, I can explain it for my buddy
Okay,
Matthew. You know, we were on a. I like to camp and get outside. Like,
It's a good pseudonym name.
yeah. His real name is T-Wig, or
okay.
the name that everybody calls him is T-Wig, and it's not a racial name. Which his last name is Terwilliger, so everybody just shortens it, calls him T-Wig.
Gotcha.
And this guy's like one of my best friends, definitely just like a brother to me. But he's really into the outdoors, and like I'll drag him around to like music stuff, and then he'll be like, and then I'll go like camping or fishing or whatever with him. And he stabbed himself pretty good
shit.
with like a rusted fillet knife one night. There's this little island that we'll go out to. And, you know, he's like one of those people who's like, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm not this and I'm not that. But he had health insurance. He went to the doctor. He got it fixed up, you know, and that was a point in time recently where I was like, hey, man, you know.
Health insurance is cool.
It's cool, you know, like
Put that on a t-shirt.
I don't know how much that would have been. Like they rip you off, bro. Like if you go, I mean, I don't know if you've ever like taken an ambulance ride or something, but shit's expensive.
Yeah, it's like a Uber double XL.
Quad
XL.
Yeah, bro.
It's like a Uber Cybertruck.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
When it went into producing Spring Training, you said it was was it initially thought of to make that album as a baseball kind of theme as the title, but a hustle album, like you said? You know, was it initially planned like that, or did it happen afterwards?
That was his idea. Yeah,
Right.
he had it all kind of mapped out.
Did he already have all the songs made?
No.
Wow, so it's really from scratch and original.
Yeah, and I didn't make every beat on there.
Okay.
But like, basically, I executive produced it. So
And what does that mean exactly?
to me, it's like you're overseeing the recording of everything. Like
Right.
I recorded it all for
Right.
one. But you're also just overseeing you. To me, to be an executive producer, you talk to the artist about what their idea is, and then your job is to make sure that the train stays on the tracks to make that idea come to fruition, and also kind of polish it up. Anything that you can add to make
Yeah.
it better. And
Yeah, because produce is, you know, it's a generic term. You know, like Rick Rubin produces and he doesn't actually produce beats. You know.
correct. Yeah,
Right.
like in the 70s, that type of producer, I think they were just like keeping the vibe up.
Right. Yeah.
Which I was like, hell yeah. Like
Right.
when I was in audio engineering school, I was like, bro, like this is
Bring
so,
Fat Joe in here. You know, bring Joey Chestnut in here. You know.
you know, Jason Isbell.
Yeah,
you know, like
facts.
get him some whiskey or
Right,
something.
right,
or
right.
Morgan Wallen, get him a chair.
Right.
You know, like
Give
keep the
Jason
vibe
Isbell
up.
a pen and tell me what he says.
But yeah, I got a shout out to Fresco. So Fresco is a commercial studio. Fresco Recording Services is a commercial studio in Pensacola.
Right.
So what we usually do is we'll track everything in my house,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll put a mix on it, and then we'll take it to Fresco, and my boy Fabio at Fresco will put the final mix and the master on it.
Gotcha.
So that it's all buttoned up and sounds exactly how it should sound. Kind of put a different set of ears on it to really.
Yeah.
He's really. He's top tier. He works out of Dolphin Street a lot too.
Nice. Yeah, I was just over there. Josh is a
Yeah.
killer, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh's first session was with a group that featured me.
What?
Yeah.
Like first session at Dolphin Street?
First session at Dolphin Street.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. We recorded a saxophone during that session, so it was kind of a unique. I don't know if he'll remember it, but
Yeah.
we put a sax on a beat. It was cool.
The saxophone. Wow, man. That's incredible. Yeah.
Putting live instrumentation. I was interning at the studio in Nashville, Blackbird Studios, when Yellow Wolf was working on Love Story.
Okay.
And so I would do like the setups, the microphone setups and stuff for Yellow Wolf.
Right.
And see what they were doing. And of course, like being a kid from Alabama, like I had opened for Yellow Wolf when I was younger in Auburn. And it like, obviously, like I was like, I got to pay attention to what he's doing.
Right.
And when I would go in the session, like before to set up the mics, it's like, we're not just setting up a vocal mic. Like
Right.
it'd be like, we're setting up microphones for the guitars, for the guitar amps, for like different instruments. And I was like, whoa, like he's not just having somebody use a computer to make a beat. Like
Yeah.
this guy's bringing in real artists to like record this shit. And I was like, that really totally changed everything for me as far as how to make hip hop beats. Just like you can have a bluegrass guy playing the banjo
Right.
and it's still hip hop, you know? So he really, he's Yellow Wolf, man. I got a lot of respect for him for how he's just he's kind of handled himself, and just the art that he's put out and the way that he's done it has
Cool ass name too.
Yellow Wolf.
Yellow Wolf, yeah.
Yeah.
What I mean, can you like notice a live instrument compared to a?
You can usually you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
Like on that particular beat, like the sax comes in and he doesn't just do like a couple riffs, like he has like a sax solo. It's like, bro, like they played this over this beat. Like this isn't
That's terrific.
this isn't something from Splice or something.
Yeah.
You know. So
I think we kind of touched on it earlier, but what are your plans of getting that Gulf Coast sound out into the spectrum of, especially when it applies to rap? Because when people think of Gulf Coast, they think of Jimmy Buffett.
yeah, man. That's crazy because somebody said one time that it was like your sound is like it's like a hip hop Jimmy Buffett.
Right.
And now like I thought it was really cool, and then now that's like what people just keep saying, and I'm like, all right, well, like let's like
Right.
respect to Jimmy Buffett
Right.
and everything, but like
Yeah, I hate Young Gravy now.
really, did he do something?
No, it's just they're always like, "Oh wow, you sound like who's that? Who's that white dude? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you sound like."
It's the worst, bro. Like
Yeah.
being compared, and not like I'm not even saying I was being compared to Jimmy Buffett. They were just like, you're rapping about. You're like making shit. You're rapping like Jimmy Buffett,
It's
like,
like a
Jimmy
parody.
Buffett or some shit. Yeah, it's like, but like, yeah. As far as your question, like, how do you get that out there?
Straight out of
man?
Margaritaville.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know, like, how, like, that's definitely a weakness of mine is, like, social media and getting music out there and all that. I'm just more focused on, like, it was so hard for me to get music that just sounded good, that I was proud of
Yeah.
to perform out in public or play or send out to streaming sites. So that was, like, that's always been my main thing. But, like, there's a guy named Crimro Smith in Pensacola you got to check out. And,
Crimro Smith.
Crimro Smith, he's got a song called Cola, and I think it's at like his music video is at like 125,000 on YouTube. He's serious.
Jeez.
He's real serious. And I saw him perform at Vinyl in Pensacola, and I was like, man, I thought I was good. Like this dude's this is the real deal.
Wow.
And so I ended up somehow setting up a meeting with him, and just over time, it's kind of like I was saying, like with your relationship with people, like Crimro has seen it all. He's a veteran in the game. And
Nice.
so when I'm sitting there like, bro, like I really believe in you and like I want to rock with what you're doing, he's just like, yeah. But over time, like he's really working with me a lot. I'm producing a whole project with him.
Right.
When he performs live, I DJ for him.
Wow.
You know, so
Do you prefer DJing or performing?
man, it's tough because like it's kind of like making beats or performing because it's like when you're DJing, you can just like enjoy the moment, and when
Yeah.
you're performing, I take it seriously, so I want to be like focused.
Right. You have to make others enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really don't know, man, but like I've DJ'd definitely for some like big crowds that I was just like when you feel that energy, bro, like it's insane. It is like a crazy feeling. Like I want everybody in the world to experience that.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you say to people that say, I stole that from, who's that? Caleb Presley. What do you say to people who say that anybody can be a DJ?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, but not anybody can be a good DJ.
Right.
I encourage anybody to do anything. You know, there's so many gatekeepers in this game. Like, I don't believe in that shit. Like, if you think you can do something, you should do it.
Right.
You should go for it. And the thing about DJing is like, I never set out to be a DJ. We just needed a DJ. You know, like we needed it. So, and now other people are hitting me. Like I got hit up today about going to Orlando to DJ for a guy's set. And I was just like, it's just it's a need in the game.
Yeah.
And so
I guess only recently I'm realizing how much of a referral business music is.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like, I mean, when you kind of make music, it's different because you can kind of see the audience and how the audience interacts and all that. But like as a engineer, a videographer, you know, unless you have like a producer tag, but very few have like a very popular producer tag, you know, like it seems like a big referral business.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's yeah, and if you want to get referred, I mean, you got to figure out like where the holes in the game are that you can fill in.
Right.
You know, I don't know. That's why I wear so many different hats. It's just like I grew up in Point Clear, Alabama. There's not a studio down there. There's not a place. There's not a venue where you get to perform hip hop. There's not even that many people that listen to hip hop there.
Yeah, man.
So it's like I literally was just like, I'm gonna have to figure this out. You
Right.
know?
I mean, it seems like you're one of few that like have kind of chosen this path to pursue, you know?
Yeah, it's a lonely road, bro.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure a lot of people look at you crazy from your hometown.
Bro, like I've lost friends, relationships,
Right.
just like business opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, that's the scary thing. It's like I said, you know, my job is like is really serious.
Right.
And you know, like it's just like every now and then somebody will be like Dusty DeLuna, Panhandle Pirates, you know, and you're just like which angle are you coming at me with? Like, are you showing love or are you hating?
Right.
You know, like it's just, and you know, old Caucasian people in South Alabama are not like, they're not going to be as accepting as like the newer generations, you know?
Yeah.
And it's normal now. Like in the early 2010s, bro, like it was not normal for people. Like now it's all accessible. This was like when GarageBand and all that was like getting hot.
Right.
You know, like people were not putting out. It was unheard of for a local person to have a hip hop song.
Right.
So it was definitely like really, it was not. We didn't get love, and I went on a podcast in Pensacola, and I don't think that they understood it because they were like talking to me in Trap and Trav, and they're like, man, y'all are lucky. Like, you know, people are gonna love you because you're white and you're like making this music, like you stick out. And I'm like, bro, we get so much hate, like where we're from, like it is not cool. Like it's not, we don't get appreciated. And so like for him to even say that, I was just like, bro, Pensacola is so different than South Alabama. Like once you cross that border into Florida, like you're almost accepted, but like over here, and times are changing.
Interesting.
And times are changing. It's getting better and better over
Right.
here. But you know, you go to Foley, Alabama, and it's like, or Alberta or something. You know, it's like it's not the same, bro. It's not. It's not. You know, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Sure.
You get hit with the hard R and whatever. You know, it's all. We've been called it all. So definitely get a lot of hate.
What do your parents think about it? I don't want to get too personal if you don't want to.
No, we can. You know, like I think when I was younger and I was really into it, it was like I'll sacrifice everything for this, and so they were a little bit like, you know, keep your life straight.
Right.
Don't be sleeping out of your car in the winter.
Bucket list.
You know, like I wouldn't trade it for anything, bro. Like
Yeah.
the path that I've taken, I wouldn't trade it. But yeah, I think now they're like, you know, you've done what you needed to do. You graduated college, you got your life together. You know, like if you want to make art, and to me, it's like really therapeutic.
Yeah.
So I'm a true believer in creative therapy.
Especially when you change other people's lives.
Shit, I wasn't even thinking about it like that.
But like
yeah.
in terms of like somebody like Trap and Trav, like when you're helping somebody else advance in their art form as well. And then of course, you know, if you get the opportunity where fans are like, man, you know, you really impacted my life with your music, you know. But that's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, man. To be able to help other artists is definitely like as I move forward and get older in life.
Yeah.
You know, every year, like I tell myself, like I'm getting out of this shit, and I'm just gonna be like a coach, and I'm just gonna record people and do like the managerial type thing, and kind of oversee the publishing and everything for my artists on Fried Green. But I just get sucked back into it, you know, and it's like,
Shit, man.
yeah,
You're talking to future me.
like this year, I'm like, all right, this is the last year. I'm gonna do this.
And do this is like record yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, you know, put projects out or songs out or whatever, and And now like the ball's kind of rolling, and it's just like, fuck. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know, like, but definitely in the future, my goal is to help more artists
Right.
get their art out there.
Right. You said you got a project coming out in 2 weeks.
Um, well, I don't know when Trap and Trav's project's gonna drop. It's like 95% done,
Okay.
and it's gonna come out this summer. And then Calico Trey, he like he's working on his project too, but he's got one song in particular that we're shooting a music video to that I think it has the potential to be the biggest song that we've ever, all three
Nice.
of us have ever touched.
What makes it so special?
Was It's called 850,
Okay.
and it's about, you know, that's the
Area
area
code.
code for Pensacola,
Right.
and it's cinematic sounding, and it's powerful. I think.
How many times did you listen to it in a row?
Oh, bro. I mean, I'll play it for you after this.
Sure,
and
sure.
You tell me, like, I mean, like,
Cool.
if you could listen to it again and again or not.
Yeah.
But it's powerful. We got Crimro Smith as a feature on it, so it's a serious record. It's just now we just have to put the pieces of the puzzle together to present it to the public, and hopefully it does what it should do.
How many people are on your record label?
Just Trap and Trav and Calico Trey, and then myself.
Okay.
So like I said, like people always see it and they're like, "Oh, I got a nephew who raps or something," and I'm like, my hands are full. Like I'm trying to, like, you know, I'm really hands on with these projects. So like I'm really trying to do something with these two guys, and eventually like we'll expand more. But I'd rather give them all the attention that they deserve instead of like kind of half step with a bunch of different artists.
And what goes into operating that record label?
Uploading everything, making sure the publishing is right, making sure that the sound is right. You know, sitting down with Fresco, going over the mixes, sitting down with the guys, making sure they're comfortable with the mixes.
Right. And Fresco isn't a part of the label. He's just an outsourcing.
Yeah. Outsourcing. But he's like my right hand man. You know,
Gotcha.
like he is really, really, really good. But yeah, like basically what goes into with Fried Green is taking ideas from people's heads and bringing them to life.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Gotcha.
And there's a bunch of other little, you know, T's to cross and I's to dot, but that's the main thing. If you can get that idea out of Calico Trey's head or Trap and Trav's head and onto wax, then you know, it's a success to me.
Right. And by you mean you.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a success to me, yeah.
Right,
And hopefully to them, I guess, and to
Right.
other people.
Right.
And Trap and Trav, like, he has a really, really good business mind. And so, like, a lot of times when I'm thinking of something or whatever, I bounce all ideas off of him.
Yeah.
He's like the VP, you know, like he
Gotcha.
eventually, once we have other artists, he will help oversee what they're doing and making sure that it's all going on the right path.
Cool. And what's your plan as you move forward with the record label? Like, are there any future goals? What do you see in 5 years?
Man, in 5 years, hopefully a lot more streams, getting more eyeballs on the art.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the main focus was just creating art that was worth a damn. And now that we have something that's kind of there, you know, it's like, all right, let's figure out how to get some eyes on it.
Yeah.
And get some streams and really get something going. So I hope that by then we've kind of figured out the marketing more.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. My dad was like, you know that you have a clothing brand that, or you have a clothing brand that's a record label, and I was just like, it kind of hurt, but he's right, because it's like more people want the merch than anything, bro. I get asked about like hats and T-shirts all the time.
That's a good problem to have.
It is, but yeah, and I learned it from him because with his company, he just like printed out like a couple hundred shirts when he first started.
Right.
And just would give them out to everybody, friends, family in the community. And everybody was like, I want to wear that shirt. And so I knew like the first thing that I was doing was like, I have to brand this the same way to where people are like, I want to wear that brand. I think that brand's cool or whatever. So I saw him do it and I was like, it helped me with my merch, you know, and understand the importance of it.
What went into creating an LLC?
Paperwork.
Yeah.
Making sure that the state that you're in, you know, it's not already trademarked or
Right,
something
right,
like
right.
that. You know, it's just really paying money.
Yeah. Fair, fair.
It's not too complicated.
Yeah.
But I started it in Tennessee and then I switched it to Florida.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah. But it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you need to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
If you haven't, I mean, I don't know.
I'm
I
gonna
want
get a
somebody to
seat.
see this and be like, yeah, Gulf Coast music. Yeah, we are actually a symphony or something like
No,
that.
yeah. I'm gonna explain that after this. I'm gonna get a cease and desist pretty soon.
Yeah, man. My lawyer is probably going to hit you. That's why I came here today.
Yeah. So actually, we got the police outside.
I mean, it's a clean logo. It's a cool name.
Thank
I mean, like,
Muna came up with that.
who did?
Graphic design student named Muna.
Okay.
Doesn't know anything about rap music, just really good at art.
I mean, but that's the cool thing about Gulf Coast music is it's not limited to rap. Just
I
because
know.
that's your expertise, you know, like you
Yeah.
can have anybody in here.
I'm
It's
actually gonna have to
universal.
change the name because it's already used. So.
Is it?
Yeah, there's some like
I knew it, man.
they're gonna find out about it at some point. Like I said, I'm gonna get a cease and desist, but I need to change the name. So
I mean, you can always just spin it, you know, like the Gulf Coast music podcast or something. You
Right.
could spin it somehow.
not Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
What you thinking?
You could use the like the first three letters and just make it like and just call it GCM.
Yeah.
And it could stand for Gold Coast Music, but you can't get copyrighted because you used GCM. So,
Dead ass?
Yeah.
And then underneath it, just explain it or say,
Right.
have it
You can
spelled
put
out.
it under it, but as long as you put like GCM as like the regular registered name, then they can't find you for that.
Even if I say, welcome to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast.
GCM is your registered name.
If you do Welcome to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast, you got to play Welcome to the Gulf Coast as the intro every time, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's great sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I'm getting, yeah.
We'll work out a deal.
You can use it for whatever, bro. I love the exposure. I'll take it.
We'll work out a deal for sure.
Yeah, and I got all the track outs and everything. If you want just the instrumentation or
Facts.
whatever you need for that beat, you know, I got it. It's a cool story how I got that beat too. I don't know if you ever heard of Burner.
Burner.
He made this brand called Cookies. He's out in San Francisco.
Sounds like a weed deal.
Yeah, it's like $100 million weed brand.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Burner's
it's also
Cookies.
like
Burner's Cookies.
Yeah,
San Francisco.
Cookies is the strain.
Okay.
That's why
gotcha.
you always hear like Wiz Khalifa. Burner is signed to a Taylor Gang.
Sailor Gang.
But it's like a lifestyle brand and everything. And I was going out to visit a friend in San Francisco, and I was listening to Burner, and I was just like, man, like I love these beats. Like these beats are the Bay Area. It's like got this particular sound. And so I looked up who the producer was, and it's a guy named Cosmo. But yeah, I looked up who his producer was. It was a guy named Cosmo. And so I started hitting him up. And Cosmo signed to Taylor Gang as well.
Gotcha.
But I was hitting him up, and he's like, you know, are you serious or not? He's like, it's $500 to have the conversation with me. And I was like, I'm really serious.
Yeah.
So I shot him the bread, and he shot me a bunch of beats, and I went through them, and I was actually in the Dominican Republic when I was listening to them, and I was just sitting there like thinking about back home, listening to it, and it just like hit, and I was like, welcome to the Gulf Coast. And so I went back, and you were asking me like, how do you make a sound, the Gulf Coast sound? And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, because I used the Bay Area beat to make the song called Welcome to the Gulf Coast. So it's like, that's where I really think like the music can be from wherever, but what you're saying is what makes it coastal, you know? But nah, he also did the beat for 251 General on Trap and Trav's project, which is a heater.
Do you think it's odd that like in Mobile it's such a prevalent thing to be like 251 and then your first name?
Well, like you gotta like realize too, like this is like one of the only places that only has one area code. You know, like in Atlanta, it'd be like 404, 770, 678.
Because it's that big of a city?
Right.
Right.
But like, yeah, people like from here, like,
Even if they're not, well, maybe it's just because 251 just has a ring to it. Like they might not even be from 251.
bruh, like it does, and people have so much pride in being from here.
Yeah.
I mean, you being from Louisiana, moving here, like, do you see that where people are like, we love, like, bitch, our city has a battleship. What's your city got?
I don't know. I think
like,
it's silly because like people have pride in Louis. Like, dude, Baton Rouge pride is crazy.
I bet.
Like Louisiana's got, bitch, I'm from Louisiana. Boozy.
True. Yeah. I feel like Mobile has that, like, kind of, it just has a,
Mobile's just crazy people. I feel like Louisiana's crazy too.
I was
So,
about to say, but you,
yeah, but
you
like
gotta say, like, what is it that's different about Mobile?
they just don't pronounce consonants.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Jeet? Or like,
no, like the last consonant in any word is like emitted. So like laying on the beach would be lie on a beach.
yeah. I mean,
Or like one time, like specifically, this is always my point of reference, was that there's a basketball court on Sage Street, which is a really cool basketball court in Mobile, and I played there a bunch throughout my college years. And if they made a shot, they're like, that shit was butter, but they would say that shit was butter.
yeah.
Like you wouldn't hear the
That's
R.
pretty universal though. Anywhere though, like, you know,
Maybe,
I feel like
maybe.
they don't talk like that in L.A., Louisiana.
I guess so. I guess
Y'all have like some crazy shit,
Yeah.
bro. Like les entends, bon temps.
Right.
You know,
Put that
shit.
on a cracker, dude.
Shout out to Stale Cracker.
Yeah.
He comes to Pensacola once a year.
Wow.
Does a little thing at Lagunas Beach Bar, which is a badass venue. Shout out to Lagunas.
Laguna. I've heard of Lagunas.
Yeah, I hope we can do a show there soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what are your future plans? I mean, we've mentioned it a few times, but like in terms of booking performances, recording artists, what's your future plans?
Man, Calico Trey, he's got the most potential. I feel like as a hook, just to do hooks for multiple other artists. Like he's got it anywhere. You know, like Trap and Trav is great,
Right.
great at rapping, but you can't create a
Can't teach that.
like well, I was just gonna say like with Calico Trey doing hooks, it's a whole different ball game when somebody's singing because he's a singer. You know, he can rap, but he's mainly singing,
Yeah.
and so like there's a lot of power in hooks,
Yeah.
and I want to get multiple other artists tapped in to getting hooks from him. You need to get a hook from him. You know, like everybody who needs a hook from Calico Trey, like tap in and get
Facts.
one because it's fire.
I'll
you
check
know?
him out.
Yeah, and he's got a really interesting story. Like how we met was, he's a barber. He goes by the Nautical Barber.
Okay.
And he wasn't even my barber. I was getting my hair cut by another dude, and Trey would just be like, what's going on with Fry Green? Like I'm an artist too, you know. And like I was like, all right. And my first show in Pensacola I got because Trey knew the Sound got vinyl.
Oh,
So I got to go perform at Vinyl for a gallery night because of Trey.
Oh, wow.
And Trey and then from that I got other shows at Vinyl, and Trey would be backstage like outside, and he'd be like, yeah, like I sing, and he'd sing some like bluesy shit, and everybody'd be like, that's cool, damn, but then nobody would do anything.
Right.
And so after like a year of that, I was like, bro, why don't you just come over and let's record something, you know? And from there, just very organically from our friendship, you know, like it was always just gonna be like me, and then I added Trap. And I was like, I gotta add Calico. Like I got to. He's got too much potential, and I felt like he was so overlooked. Like it's crazy. So now my goal is to really build him up and get his product out there.
Awesome.
So that is my immediate future after Trap and Trav's next project opening day.
Awesome, man. And then that website's going to come out soon, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Shopify and all that.
Sheesh, man. Well, guys, stay tuned for Dusty DeLuna, Calico Trey, and Trap and Trav, and the website, and copy some Fried Green records. And
Yeah.
man, thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
Panhandle Pirates.
Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.
Welcome to the podcast. You need a little shot of this Red Bull to keep you awake, man.
I know.
I saw you yawning. If you
I
need
know,
to,
man.
get it,
That barbecue sauce is killing me right now. I had some barbecue sauce and chicken. It's recording me. Welcome to the Gulf Coast has a sample on it.
Yeah.
Can you explain the process that you went through to yada yada?
Yeah. So I hit up Universal Music Publishing Group, and there was a girl. She actually has an Instagram called Cat Cleared It. I believe with a K that you can hit up. And I talked to her, and she basically was blowing me off. And luckily, I have a friend who's a lawyer that he kind of specializes in that type of thing, copyright and publishing and
Gotcha.
stuff like that. So he ended up hitting her up because she wouldn't respond to me. But he was like, no, like my client's serious. Like he wants
Right.
to clear this song because I knew it was
Got that
gonna,
lawyer riz.
I knew it was gonna be possibly my biggest song, and it was really important to me. And I had the bread at the time, so I was like, I got to do it. And anyways, we went through a lot of back and forth. I'll tell you, like I don't know about other publishing companies, but Universal Music Publishing Company, like we thought we were going to negotiate with them after they made their initial offer.
Right.
And they were like, no negotiation. Like, we get 50% of the song and you pay us $2,500 and you get to use it.
Jeez.
And I was like, no negotiation. Like, oh shit. And I was like, bet. Shot them the bread and they cleared the sample. And so now, like,
What did clearing the sample entail?
they don't block my song. So,
Okay.
like, my song can go on YouTube and Spotify and all that, and I can collect royalties from it.
Wow.
So, yeah. And my goal was in hopes that one day a podcast would pick it up as their intro. Maybe they'd be
Wow.
called like the Welcome to the Gold Coast podcast or something.
Wow.
Nah, but
Crazy. You made a perfect song and manifested fate.
nah, man, like those record labels and publishing companies will bully little guys for
Yeah.
sure. And like it kind of hurt me, bro. Like after I shot them the bread and everything, Cat Cleared It posted on her Instagram. She had a dripped out pendant that said Cat Cleared It. Like literally, like right after I sent them the money.
That's fucked.
And so I was just like, and she's like flexing,
Right.
Just like, damn.
Got my $2,500 pendant in today.
And I was like, before I send this money, like I want to talk to somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
Like I got to talk to somebody on the phone. Like I'm a kid from Alabama. Like this is a lot of money to me.
Right.
And they're like, no, you're not talking to anybody. Wire us that money or get out of here.
Right. Cat Cleared It answers the phone. Who is this?
Yeah. I mean, bro, like, yeah, I mean,
Gosh.
it's rough out there.
Yeah.
But as an independent artist, you have to be just as good at business
Right.
as you are at art.
Preach. Absolutely, man. It's such a business game nowadays. Another question I have is, were your parents worried about you when you were living out of a car?
They don't know.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Fair.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, I respect
And
the
it
hustle. and all that.
wasn't too long,
Yeah.
but it was the winter and it was rough. And my car did break down one particular night. And I remember just like, I had my whole wardrobe with me because I was, my
Right.
car was my crib. And I just like took all of my jackets and shit and just piled them on me and slept in that bitch
Oh,
through
God.
a cold ass Nashville snowy night.
Wow.
So, I don't know, man, the things that you do for your dreams.
There you go. Thank you, Dusty.
Yes, sir.
The things you do for your dreams.